As I promised in the video with plan for 2025, what I'm going to focus on this channel is basically on the two things. The first one is to make better video. I want to make them, I actually want to practice more cinematic stuff, which I'm trying to do right now. And the second one is just to focus on building some projects, even they are very small and simple, and share the update here. But one of the things I still wanted to do is, to share the experience that I have in the tech industry. And when I started this channel, and well, it's actually the second channel, when I started the first channel, like 1.5 years ago, I had an illusion that somebody is actually interested in this type of the content and in me sharing this kind of knowledge that I gained doing software development for more than 10 years. And yesterday I actually recorded one of the videos like this. I wanted to share my opinion on how I structure and how I create the hiring process within the company and why we actually get very good feedback from the candidates. I recorded it, I edited it, I uploaded, prepared all of the things, and on the last step when I need to hit publish, I decided then I'm not going to do this. Yeah, I just don't believe that anybody is actually interested in this type of the things. And yeah, I had this illusion that somebody will be interested in this type of the content, but after recording about 60 videos about this, there were a couple of the videos where people actually interested in some topics, but most likely since no one needs me sharing this type of things. I don't think that this type of the content is not interested on the YouTube. There are plenty of the YouTube channels that, for example, there is a YouTube channel strictly about solving algorithms in the data structure and preparing for the interviews. Basically, this YouTube channel delivers the value for the people. Apparently, I'm not, and I cannot make this happen. Maybe it's not the thing that I want to do. So, like yesterday, I made a decision that I'm not going to record this type of the videos anymore, because it just doesn't make any sense. So again, I will just practice what I promised in the plan for 2025, and I will focus for the YouTube channel, I will focus on the two things. Make the video better to watch, make them more interesting, and build some stuff and share it here. So I'll be focusing on two things, and I will be dedicating more time to each video. And with the projects, I always wanted to create something that I can, publish and I can show as something that I will be the author of this and other people can use. I guess I'm in a state on the YouTube channel where I'm going to do this without, looking back on what other people do on the YouTube and what is kind of expected from the person who makes the videos about software development, like software engineering or stuff in the tech, because I don't want to record things about AI hype and this. There are a lot of the channels that does it. So yeah, let's go to the project update. So again, one of the promises for the 2025 was me building more stuff. And the application I'm working on right now is a small utility app that I want to use first by myself, and it's the one that replaces the default browser and gives you first ability to select a browser while you opening an app or while you opening a link. In the future, you'll be able to customize some rules, for example, to open a specific link always in a specific browser or to redirect into apps like Figma, Zoom, whatever. And before I will show you the progress, the thing is that the current state, the reason that I'm recording it right now because it's the first milestone, and the reason that I'm recording it right now because I figure out several things that led me to the conclusion that I can build it up until the end. There were some questions that I wasn't able how I would implement this. I know that there are implemented in different applications, but it was implemented by other people, right? So I needed to understand if I have enough knowledge, or to rephrase it, I needed to understand how I would need to implement the specific things. And currently I figured out all of the things that I didn't understand how to do with this app. So I would continue. But again, the crucial part here is that I can build it. Nobody else. I'm sure that, like, it's not even like an MVP. It's very simple app right now that does very particular thing, but it's the foundation for me to understand what I need to go next. So let me show you. Okay, so let me show you the application, how it looks right now. And you can actually see that I'm using NeoVim. I mean, it's going to be a fully native macOS application using SwiftUI and using all new APIs that comes with the latest SwiftUI update, which for me was a bit tricky because I never used it like from the scratch. You can see this one, but it's just the main view. We can close it because it's not what we interested. The interesting part is this one. Yeah, it looks like crap, for sure. What you would expect me to build it like very nice from the scratch. But the main things are, you can see that there are two browsers. I'm using Safari and Brave, and I'm kind of separating the use cases where I use, for example, Safari and where I use Brave. So as you can see, I can open any URL. It's just easier for me to do it from the terminal. And right now I have two options, go with the Brave and go with the Safari. And one of the things that I wanted to build for this application is this 1 and 2. It's actually the shortcuts, so I don't even have to use the mouse to open it. So let's open the Brave. So you can see it opened it. Let me try once again, and let's go with the Safari for this one. Same, okay? Okay, what if I want to open something else? For example, I think it's this one, right? No, not this one. Okay, I actually don't remember, but anyway, you can see that it actually works. And even from this perspective, I'm already using it instead of the other applications. I know that, again, there are other applications that do this, but again, I want to build it in a way that it has the specific feature set. Now let's dig into the more of the implementation details. So the first one is I created a name for the app that was, I think, the most hard part. And then this is the interesting part, at least for me. So if you have done macOS iOS development in the past at least once, you know that there is only way to do this, and it's using Xcode or to use different like cross-platform stuff like React Native, Flutter and other things. But if you want to go native, which I do prefer, you forced to use Xcode for all of the things. And Xcode ecosystem is not really good if you want to do stuff outside. But there is a way to configure to develop iOS and macOS application, I mean for the Apple ecosystem, from inside the NeoVim. There is a cool plugin that is called Xcode Build. This one, let me wait here, and then it's right. So this is the plugin. It's called Xcode Build.nvim, and the author of this plugin made a huge work to make it work. There is ability to actually use the Xcode projects in the NeoVim, so it kind of converts it into some internal state, and you can use it. But the cool thing, I still had to use the Xcode, but most of the code was actually written from this, so I can do stuff, like check the documentation. I can use, well, I think this one won't work. Oh no, it's actually works. So I can use like workspace symbols and all of this stuff, which is an insane progress outside of the Xcode. This is the first milestone. Well, first I can actually use it. I'm using it already. So instead of selecting another application, which I used before, actually, before I decided to implement my own. But I can actually use it. Yes, it has only one feature, but it's just the beginning. And the first thing I made for myself so I can use it, and I like using it already if it's like looks like this, is the key bindings. The next milestone is going to be, well, in the next milestone I want to make the UI a bit nicer. My desire is to make it an application with text configuration, because most of the apps that do this, they are UI driven. For example, if I want to create some custom rules on how to open URLs in the specific application, I need to go through some drop downs, so on and so on. Now, on the first launch, I want to generate the config based on the things that you have on your Mac, and then you can edit it in a way that you want. So the milestones would be, at first, make a nice UI and make it configurable through the code. Then probably I will go and set up the CI so it can be built into DMG and actually used by somebody else. And I need to make it in the release configuration, because right now I'm just using the debug version that expires after some time. So the only problem that I have to rerun it from time to time, because otherwise the binary is not valid anymore and it just falls back into previous choice. But for me personally, it's not an issue because I'm making slow progress every day. So yeah, that will be the next milestone, and then I can work on the configuration. And I believe after the second milestone, I will publish everything on the GitHub. I will make it in a way that you can use it. So yeah, that's the progress. I know it looks like it's not, but I had to spend some time to understanding like all of the corner cases, like how I manage the windows, how I can manipulate other applications, because one of the problems that I had is actually how I can activate and focus a different application. And I had some problems with this, so I had to experiment, for example, in the order of the methods, because that counts as well. Right, that's all for this section. Okay, so the last thing I want to share in this video is the book recommendation. Currently, I'm reading the book called Understanding Distributed Systems by Roberto Vitillo. I hope I pronounced the name correctly. And yeah, this is the book. I'm halfway. I mean, there are 4 parts in the book. I read already 2 parts. The first one is about the communication, and the second one is named Coordination. I think it's a great book. I'm not affiliated in any way with this book, so I just think that it's a really great reading. It gives you like many points, many high-level entry points into this topic. So for example, if you want to switch into that area, or for example, you just want to understand what the thing is about, distributed systems, like what are the approaches, what are the problems people face when they need to implement something like this. Like for me personally, the first part about the communication was not that hard. I mean, I worked with many things mentioned in there. The second part about the coordination describes many different topics, and if I knew them in general, my knowledge wasn't that structured. So it was good to see like going a little bit in depth in some topics, like for example, what are the different types of the consistency and how you can define them and how you can reach them, what are the differences between them. I will put the link to the website about this book in the video description, so if you're interested, you can check it out. But since it's a book that requires some thinking, I'm just reading it for 15-20 minutes per day, usually just by chapter, so I can give myself time to slowly process it. Plus, like almost in every chapter there are some links, like additional links you can go and investigate further if you're interested in the specific topics. So again, I would highly recommend this one, even if you're not going to implement the distributed systems at all. There are some parts that can be reused in the different software development areas. And I mean, for example, the communication part, there are applications in the system that work fully offline, but most of them need to communicate with others in some way. And for example, this part described this on a very high level in a very good way. That's all for today. If you want to support me, you will find links in the description. Also, you can join the Discord server and you can find me and other folks as well. But for now, thank you for watching and I see you in the next video. Bye bye.